that beautiful yard.
What's he doing? Did he just fall down? He just crashed. Already.
I think that was the intent, wasn't it?
I don't know.
It's like, watch this, I'm gonna crash. We got a man down.
He landed in cactus.
You landed in cactus?
Pile of it.
Ow! That must hurt.
Yeah, watch. Oh man, dude, I got all up in my ass.
So what's going on with your thumb here?
Fucking straight up peeled all that shit off right there, dude.
At least you don't have a broken spine. That's what I thought.
Oh,
It was like a broken spine crash to me.
I landed up in a big old fucking patch of that shit.
Everywhere here. When I was running across to you, it was like,
Oh!
Alright, so yeah. The Utes came in, wiped the Apaches out.
And that's where they came from.
Yeah, they came from came from the south, of course. And there's stories of the Spaniard general who found a bunch of gold, and he married an Indian woman, and the woman was bitten by a rattlesnake while she was collecting wood. And so he thought that gold was cursed because it killed his wife and all this and that. So he buried it under a rock, stuck a shovel on the top, and this was here in southern Colorado. This actually happened. But the guy's, he told his daughter, his only daughter, not to tell anyone where the gold was at, but he told her. And then on her deathbed, she told her son, and he went looking for it, and he found it.
Right.
And he digs out the hole and sticks his hand in there right into a den of rattlesnakes, and he of course got bit and died. So I mean, it's kind of weird because the Ute, or like the Indian curses and stuff, could very well have something to do with that type of thing. It's like there's other stories of just up here in the San Juans. These people went to they found this cave, it was like an old mine. They found gold, and they went back to go find it again, and it was gone. So it's not like.
So the Apaches were here originally.
The Apaches were the original tribe. They owned all of this way, and the Comanches were off over that way. And like I say, the Apaches thought that Blanca Massif was the source of all life.
How many miles is it that way?
Blanca Massif is about 50 miles straight that way.
So you're talking about when the Utes came through raping and pillaging the Apaches that were here, like what time period was that?
1500s.
1500s? Yeah. And they came with the Spaniards?
Or well, they didn't come with the Spaniards, they came just before the Spanish.
Okay.
And the Spanish came in and just wiped them all out. So, yeah, it's like that little, right here on this second mesa, there's like this little tiny hill on the side. Like you can see it, that real low hill.
Uh-huh.
That's actually called Kiowa Hill, and there's like a little structure up there. It was like they went up there because they were being chased by the Spaniards, and they were trying to build like a breastwork type thing, to keep them away, and fucking they went up there and wiped them all out. So yeah, this is.
So when people find obsidian around here, the arrowheads, which tribe is that mostly likely from, or is it?
Probably the Utes.
Probably the Utes.
Yeah, because like I say, they came in here and started tearing shit up and made it their own home,
Now you're talking about this mountain up here, a lot of the bodies being removed from the ancient burial grounds.
Yeah, I think they did that like in the 60s sometime, or because people wanted to start going up there, I guess, and they didn't want to be coming across a bunch of dead bodies.
So like these petroglyphs, I've heard of some of them that are around here. I've seen a few. I've seen a snake drawn on a rock. So which tribe do you think that came from?
Could have came from any. Probably the Apaches or the Utes, because like I said, they had control of this side, and Comanches had that side. So, I mean, because like you can see the gorge there. There's petroglyphs all the way down in there. If you go to the bridge, there's petroglyphs all the way back down in there. And if you go all the way back in to Rio Grande, I mean, that's like good 8 miles downriver. Then there's more.
So Ute Mountain is a sacred mountain, but there are some that believe that might also be like an underground base today.
Well, I mean, that was in the book, The Mysterious Valley. It's all about the San Luis Valley and the aliens and all that crap. But yeah, they think that there's like this wall opens up in the gorge, and the ships come in and out. Supposedly there have been reports of people seeing it, but I think they were probably high. So.
Well, the lady over at Hooper, Colorado, at the UFO watchtower an hour north of here, she said that the legends go back to the 1600s, maybe even older than that. Indian legends about flying saucers and.
Yeah, I've seen. There's petroglyphs that you can't really tell what they are, but they're weird looking. It's funky, But you never know. It could have been some asshole down there, just chipping stuff into the rock.
Of course.
Because people do that.
Although some of the symbols there look fairly ancient.
Yeah, definitely.
It's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell because, they could have done that in the, late 1800s. Some white guy could have been down there on the Rio Grande,
right.
Putting stuff in there. But
well, most of the stuff carries on through time through the oral tradition, at least stories that the Indians left behind, as they pass it on within their own tribe through the oral tradition. So through meeting you and me through other people, I'm starting to get, different puzzle pieces. Starting to see that this area's got more history than probably what most Americans are aware of, I would think.
Oh yeah, this little area has been a lot of bloodshed here. There's like really a lot of people have just slaughtered each other. Just because they wanted the land. And I guess the river would make that the most important part,
The river?
Yeah, because
over here, the Rio Grande.
River's worth a lot because you always have flowing water. 200 years ago, that river was over 200 feet wide. So it was above. If we would have been here 200 years ago at that bridge. Where the bridge is now, and that was built in the late 1800s. It would have been whitewaters, it's not like it is now.
So then they had a lot of resources to survive, obviously fish.
Oh yeah.
Large fish.
Lots of game, big game, elk, deer, whatever, hunter-gatherers society.
So the winter here wasn't a big deal to them?
No, oh no. No, below freezing temperatures, they didn't care. They had, they had hides and blankets and that kind of stuff to keep them warm. So
it does have an interesting history. I think this area is going to have an interesting future. But what's also fascinating is that a Japanese internment camp, a former one, is right over that way, right?
Yeah, just right over the hill.
Uh-huh.
And like I say, there's graves in the Mesita Cemetery with Japanese writing on them, but they're really old and faded out. And those very well could have been, from the early 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like I say, once the whole Pearl Harbor thing happened, they didn't trust the Japanese anyway, and then they started putting them all in concentration camps. Like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't like Auschwitz or anything like that,
but they picked this valley to do it.
Well,
out of the way.
They picked this place, this specific place in the valley, because this is a really, really big valley. It's like, you got your San Juans, you got your Sangres, and you got the Wiminuche up to the north, and then you got like this stuff down there. It's just like a big fishbowl. Yeah, it's this is a crazy place.
So it's also a NORAD flight training zone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just trying to figure out, so how many bases are there really? If there may be one over here, and
this isn't really supposed to
40 miles this way, allegedly there's another one where there may be some sort of a tunnel system.
We'll see, up Levita Pass is MOA, Military Operations Area. And I've seen, you know, like the little fighter jets, they're really doing their training up there, you know, they're fucking in and out of the mountains, and they're really doing their training. It's like out here, whenever you see those big stealth bombers,
Right.
they're just cruising, you know, they're just going for a pleasure cruise. They're not really testing their stuff out, you know. I mean, but I've seen them, you know, 50 feet above me, dude, and you see that big old pod on the bottom, looks like a rocket pods, but it's a 30mm Vulcan Gatling gun, you know. There's fucking rounds this big and depleted uranium. So if they decided to open up, and they could wipe out Mesita with one of those planes, you know, just with the Gatling gun, and then that entire place would be radiated for the next 200 years.
The fact there's military bases here means this area could also be a target in a World War III scenario, which makes it interesting.
Like
but
I say too, because we have all these nuclear programs, you know. There's the one of them Springs, you know, NORAD. We
Right.
have Los Alamos base, and then we got FEMA camps, you know, pretty much all the way around us.
in places that, you know, could be turned into FEMA camps.
Into
They just take some barbed wire with the truck and just do 50 miles an hour and fucking make a fucking cage just like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But hopefully that won't happen here. So it's just this really interesting area. I could feel a spiritual energy, but it's also interesting where there's like UFO sightings, there's military bases. And that's exactly what we have here in this situation. So I'm wondering if they're back engineering things, if there are underground bases right here.
Very, very possible.
But why do it on sacred land, though, is the other question, where there's a history of sightings.
Sacred land, you know, because if you take your finger and put it on Afghanistan,
right,
then spin the globe, you know, it'll go straight through the San Luis Valley, where basically the same altitude, you know, as Afghanistan. So that's why they do a lot of their training around here, is because, you know, it's real mountainous.
You're saying the terrain here is like Afghanistan?
Yep, this is basically like Afghanistan. Yep, you get your Chico brush and all that, and rattlesnakes.
You know, I have seen rivers in Afghanistan that look like the Rio Grande. They do have water there.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. It's like a desert, but there's water. And like I say, we're sitting on top of the world's largest underground aquifer. The San Marcos Aquifer. California and a couple other states have been fighting over this water for a really long time. Like, they really want it, but Colorado's kind of giving them a bird, telling them to piss off.
Well, here's one, because I know in Texas there are remains of dinosaurs. Is this an area where dinosaurs are suspected to have inhabited at one point? Because it seems like it's got a more ancient history than even the Apaches and most of North America does. So this area at this elevation has probably got a lot of stories.
Yeah. Well, like I say, I was born, you know, about 153 miles on the other side of the Sangres. In La Junta in the Arkansas Valley. And there's this place you go south out of La Junta, and it's called Bogle Canyon. And there's a bunch of dinosaur tracks, fossils, everything. My principal was an archaeologist, and he dug up a lot of fossils and stuff from over there. I'm not sure about here though. You know, I'm pretty sure they had something coming through every once in a while, but I'm not sure if there was too many animals that could have, you know, stayed in this climate. You know, because like I say, the summer's all right, but the winter would kill shit. You know, just kill it.
Most of these volcanoes are at least reported to be dormant, right?
Yeah.
Non-active or extinct. Okay.
It's like, and you can tell the difference between the more